Might be too windy for this. Yeah, shaking around the camera. Well, if this works, you can hear me through the wind and the shaking. I'm on the top of a mountain right now, about 1,700 feet, not huge, but I found a nice little corner where nobody comes. So it's like I have the whole mountain by myself. Look at that. I got a new toy. It's got face tracking. That's really cool. And anyway, as I'm ruining the silence, I wanted to make a short video about silence. And then I'm going to shut up and enjoy what I'm ruining. I used to sit in meditation and get so frustrated because all there was is noise and fear and anxiety and just so many thoughts that I didn't believe it. I didn't think it worked. I didn't like it. I wished there was another way. And I hate to put a time frame on anything because I know your ego will grab onto that and think, oh, this is how long it takes. But for each person, it's different. For me, it was 2 years of meditation every day. And I did about a year of individual counseling and really worked through some trauma and stuff. And I think, here's the thing, if you're going into meditation trying to silence the mind, that's not good. It's not going to work. And then if you want meditation to fix your restless mind, it's only going to show you how restless it is. Because most of the time you go through your day and you're not really paying attention, you're not aware of your mind. Sitting still allows you to really see it. So oftentimes people will think they're okay, and then they start meditation. And a few weeks, a few months in, they think, wow, like everything's getting worse. This is crazy. But nothing got worse. You just became aware of how wild it is inside. Anyway, if your body is in a constant state of anxiety or fear or unrest, and you view the world as unsafe, as I did, somebody grew up with trauma, and my default mode was just hyper-awareness because I just felt unsafe, like at any moment something was going to happen. And then I went to meditate, kind of trying to solve this problem, and all it did at first was show me how bad it was, to the point that I was really close to taking medications because I thought, wow, this is so bad. I don't know what to do. I didn't. I kept counseling, I kept meditating. And I realized meditation is not what fixed my thoughts, if there even is such a thing as fixing thoughts. What was giving me thoughts that were fearful and anxiety driven and a million miles a minute needed to be addressed, so that when I sat in meditation, I could chill. I was never able to enjoy the silence, if there ever was any, because I was so loud internally that's what I brought to every situation. Whoa. That's a lot of birds. Cool. Anyway, I think there's a place for working through things as long as you see yourself as someone who needs to work through things. Then don't try to skip ahead and get to this, I don't exist, there is no me, everybody's one. If you're not feeling that, that's not your true experience. Don't lie to yourself. Accept the fact that you do feel like a separate person and you're scared and you have trauma. So work through that. Go to counseling, do all that stuff you need to do, and then eventually you will come to a place naturally, I think, if you just keep plugging away at this, where you do feel more connected, you do feel at peace, you do feel more at one with everyone, you do see the unity behind all of this separation in life without forcing it. It shows up as you let go of your grip. If you're gripping really hard and trying to see the opposite of what you're experiencing, that's not going to help. That's going to continue to reinforce the problem. I know there's a lot of spiritual teachers out there who, well, that doesn't matter. What matters is what you're feeling. It's different than what anyone else is feeling. You're 1 in 8 billion, however many people are on the planet. And if you honor that, if you honor this separate self and work with it and feel it and accept it, then you realize it starts to disappear. And reality and truth, whatever you want to call it, starts to show itself. And it's so beautiful. But the process is not comfortable. Sometimes there's a grieving process. For me, there has been a lot of tears. I stuffed down a lot of emotion, tried to be really tough and hardcore because, I'm a guy. But I've had to admit now, as an older man, that I've always been. I remember myself as a kid, and currently now, through all the healing, I've always been the most sensitive person in the room. That took me a long time to accept. I always viewed that as weakness. But it's just my own personal story. And as I worked with my own personal story and honored it and felt it, it started to have less of a hold, less of a grip, less of a driving power. And that begins or starts or is kind of the journey into what people call awakening. You just gotta honor yourself, love yourself, work with the self. Don't ignore it, don't try to bypass it, don't try to transcend it, don't do anything like that. Be human. Feel your feelings. The more you start accepting your current experience, you find the more you start accepting everyone else's current experience. The more you can sit with other people without judgment. The more you can truly let love come off of you onto someone who seems so unloving because they're not affecting who you are. Sounds like a paradox, but in my experience, I've noticed that the unity comes through. All right, that cut me off, so let me finish what I was saying. I'm just going to hold this. The unity... What was I saying? Oh yeah, it seems like a paradox. The unity comes through the opposite. So you need to see yourself as a separate person and completely, fully accept that before you move on into what people call the non-dual state or unity or just, the lack of separation. Because the separation right now is caused by the mind and the thinking and the fear and the trauma. So the separateness is you as a person are causing the separateness inside. If you have separateness inside of you, that's how you view the world, because there is no outside or inside. So say I am dual in nature. Say I want to love someone, but I also find it hard to love them. So I have this dual thing going on inside me. So when I'm around that person, I'm going to kind of love them and not love them. So I'm going to have incongruent behavior. And the separation, the dual nature, is coming out of me. It's coming through me. I'm causing it. So eventually when you work through your own stuff and merge everything together, it's kind of the process Carl Jung explains. individuation. That's why I think doing shadow work is awesome for a time, but if you get stuck there, you can end up doing that forever and then just kind of be stuck in duality. But the shadow work for me is looking at the parts of myself that I did not want to accept, accepting them, not resisting them, accepting that I had hatred and anger and fear. And then it merged into the opposite. I also had love and peace and all these other things that I wasn't recognizing or trying to force. Now, when you merge the two together inside of yourself, you become whole, you become one. And as that happens, the world that you view outside of you becomes one. And then this weird process takes place where all of that kind of gets transcended and left behind. Then you just realize, oh, I just needed that as a stepping stone to realize that everything is. Or as Jesus put it in the most simple language, I am. Or as wise sages have said, nothing. They were silent. The simplicity of this experience is found after you merge all the duality inside yourself. It's really hard to explain. I think that's probably the best I'm going to be able to explain it for now. So thanks for watching, guys. And this new toy is fun.